Hi, this is Mrs. Brode, and today we are going to talk about dividing polynomials. So, if I'm looking at this first example, x to the fifth, that's like having x times x times x times x times x. And if I have x to the third, that's like having x times x times x. So what you could see with this is that these x's would cancel out, and we would be left with x to the squared on the top. So that would be our answer for that first example. So for the second example, you can see we'd have two x's being multiplied together on the top and six x's multiplied together on the bottom. That would leave four x's on the bottom, nothing on the top, so we would put a 1. So it'd be 1 over x to the fourth. So with that being said, what's the rule? What are we actually doing here? And if you notice, what we're doing is subtracting the exponents if the bases are the same. So the rule is, if bases are the same, subtract the exponents and put the result where the largest exponent was. So what that means is 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 was the larger exponent, so the x to the squared would go in the numerator. On the second example, 6 minus 2 is 4. The 6 was the larger exponent, so I'm going to put x to the fourth in the denominator. So let's apply that rule. So what they mean by same bases, 10 and 10, those are considered the same bases, just like x and x are considered the same bases. So I'm going to do the same thing. 7 minus 5 is 2. So we'd have 10 to the second, and since the 7 is larger, the 10 to the second would go in the denominator. So you can't just leave the numerator empty, you would have to put a 1. But in this case, since our base was 10, we can still further simplify because we know that 10 to the second is actually 100, so we would simplify this to be 1 over 100. So these numbers right here are considered the same bases, so I would divide those. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then my other bases are 10. 10 to the sixth divided by 10 to the third. 6 minus 3 is 3. So the 10 to the third would stay in the numerator. Now, that means I have nothing in my denominator, but I can still simplify 3 times 10 to the third. I know that 10 to the third is 1,000. So 3 times 1,000. The answer to this one would be 3,000. So if your bases are numbers, make sure that you fully simplify your answer. So for number 3, again, we're going to look at 9 over 12 as a fraction. We probably want to leave it as a fraction. Don't turn this to a decimal. So 9/12 can be simplified into 3/4. So my fraction is going to simplify into 3/4. Then I need to look at my y's. That's y to the fourth divided by y to the first. If there's nothing there, we consider that to be 1. So we're going to use our rules, which is to subtract. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we get y to the third. Then we need to decide where the y to the third is going to go. And it is going to go in the numerator because it's going to replace that larger exponent. So remember, look back at those original examples. The reason it replaces those larger exponents is because that's where you've got your leftover bases or your leftover variables, is wherever the larger exponent was. All right, so number 4, again, we're going to look at this part as just a fraction, negative 7 over 28. So 7 goes into both 7 and 28. So that would leave us with -1/4. Now, let's look at our next bases, which are a's. A squared divided by a, that's a to the second over a to the first. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Where would the a go? It would go in the top. So let's look at our next set of bases, b. B to the third divided by b to the first. 3 minus 1 is 2. We're going to replace the b's on the top with b squared. And then finally, we have a c in the bottom. And since there's nothing to subtract it from, that c will stay in the bottom. Now, the only thing I would say about this is we really don't need to write that 1. We'd just get used to not writing a 1 in front of a variable. So really, this would be -ab squared divided by 4c. All right, so for number 5, you've got 3s to the 4th, but notice that 4 is on the outside. So really what this is 3s stamped out 4 times, okay? And that is divided by 3s to the 4th. So that's one way to do it. And then what I would do now to simplify the top is to multiply all the 3's. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 81. And then I'm going to go back to my multiplying exponents rule and remember that s times s times s times s is really 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is s to the 4th, all divided by 3s to the 4th. And what you would see is that my s to the 4th would cancel out, and then I could do 81 divided by 3, and I would get an answer of 27. So you can absolutely stamp that out if you're a visual person and you need to see that. Or you can know that this 4 will be distributed to both of both the number and the variable in the parentheses. And remember, that would be 3 to the 4th, not 3 times 4. So you can go straight to the step of 81 s to the 4th divided by 3s to the 4th and still get to 27, even if you didn't stamp it out. All right, so for number 6, I don't want to stamp out -a times b 7 times. Now remember that negative, there's not really negative letters, so that's really a -1. So -1 to the 7th is still -1. Okay, I don't really need to write the 1. A to the 7th is a to the 7th. And then we've got b to the 7th. So that is what that top line would look like after I distributed the negative. And that is all divided by -a to the 6th. So what we can see here is our negatives would cancel out. I've got the bases of a that are similar. So a to the 7th divided by a to the 6th is going to leave me with a in the numerator. And I have nothing to partner with the b7, so it stays b to the 7th in the numerator. Nothing is in my denominator, so I don't need to write divided by 1, because simplified, it would just be a times b to the 7th. All right. So what you are going to start noticing throughout these lessons is that we are going to do a lot of review questions from earlier in the semester or the school year. And the reason for that is we have an end of course exam for algebra that covers everything. So we want to make sure that we don't forget the things that we have already learned. So number 7 is just a straight solve. So we can remember that we would need to distribute and then solve it like multi-step equation. So I distribute that 2 to both the x and the 3, minus 5. And I would distribute this negative to everything in between 2. That's like a -1. So I'd get negative 4x plus 2, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Then my next step would be to combine like terms. 6 minus 5 on the left. So I get 2x plus 1 on the left. And then on the right, 17 plus 2. So I would get 19 minus 4x on the right. So then I can just solve by moving variables all to one side and numbers all to one side. So I'm going to add the 4x just because I usually move my smaller variable so I don't have to deal with a lot of negatives. And that would be 6x plus 1 equals 19. My next step, of course, is to subtract 1. So I get 6x equals 18. I'll rewrite that over here. And then my final step would be to divide by 6, and we get that x equals 3. So, just a review of things that we've done in the past. Same thing on this 2-step equation over here for number 8. I'm going to add 7 first. And then I can do a couple things. What I usually do is I multiply by the reciprocal to get that to cancel out. In your calculator, that's the same as dividing by 4/9, but I like to actually see that happen. So I would have to multiply this side by 9/4 as well. You can see over here, they would all cancel out. And if I think about it like this, I could go ahead and further simplify and say 4 goes into 4 once and into 28 7 times. And I could see that 9 times 7 is 63. So x equals 63. And of course, you can always go back in and plug 63 back in for x into your original problem and make sure that it works out. So for number 9, this is a word problem. Lisa's scores for 3 video games were 245, 672, and 437. What would she have to score in the next game to tie her friend's Anne's average score of 438? Now, there's a key word here, her average score. Okay? So, she's played 3 games. She has 1 more to play. We want it to tie. And tie means to equal Anne's score of 438. So what that means is we would have her first score plus her second score plus her third score plus whatever she needs to get on her 4th score, all divided by 4, because the key word is average. So to find the average of that, we would divide each side by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify by adding all of these together. And when I do that, I get 1,354 plus her 4th game divided by 4 for the average. And then I can solve it like an equation. I would multiply each side by 4. And I would get 1,354 plus x equals 1752. Sorry, I'm about to run out of room. And my final step would be to subtract 1,354 from each side, and I get 398. Now remember, in word problems, we like to put these in sentences so we know what we're answering. So I would say Lisa must score 398 points. And that would be my final answer. So that is a word problem that involves an equation. So let's read this next example. Renee earns a salary of $220 per week. She also receives 1.5% bonus on her total sales. How much would her total sales have to be if she wanted to make at least $325 this week? So we can see right there that's going to be an inequality. Everything that she makes needs to be greater than or equal to 325. That's what at least means. She wants to make that amount or she wants to make more. So this is for just this week. So we know that she made the $220. But then we also know that she makes 1.5% bonus on her total sales, which we don't know what her total sales were, but that's what we want to know. Remember, we need to take this out of decimal or percent form, so we would divide by 100 or move the decimal 2 places to the left, and we would get 0.015, and I'm going to multiply it by t for total sales. So now I can just solve. Get 0.015t is greater than or equal to 105. Final step would be to divide by 0.015. And I would get t is greater than or equal to 7,000. So now let's put that into words. And I would say Renee must sell at least $7,000 worth. And I want to use that word in there. You don't want to say she must sell 7,000 because she must sell at least. She wants to make that amount or more. So those are all, the whole backside is review. Now this part, find the GCF for each pair of monomials. We're actually going to skip these 2 questions right now because this is a topic that's going to come up later on in this unit, in section 11.5. So we are not going to work those right now.